Welcome back to another episode of Motogp Mac, and today we're going to talk about the engine usage and allocation remaining for the Ducati Motogp riders in 2024. Now, as we get to squeaky bum time of the championship, engine reliability could come into the fray at some point. However, one of the things I said in a podcast that I would find out what was the engine usage and what are the remaining engines, if any, MotoGP riders have for the end of the season. Now, as we know, a MotoGP rider will receive 7 fresh engines throughout the MotoGP season. Should they complete more than 17 rounds in the championship, then an additional 8th engine will be released to allow the riders a fresh engine to finish off the season. Now, first, we're going to start with the VR46 Racing team and go through the engine usage and what is remaining for each of the riders. So with Fabio Di Giannantonio first, we can see here that Fabio Di Giannantonio has 5 well-used engines remaining. As you can see, there is a lot of mileage. He did lose his first engine pretty early, just after the sprint race in the Americas, and then just after the qualifying session in Austria, he lost his second engine. So you can see that, round 18 cannot come fast enough for Fabio Di Giannantonio. Marco Bezzecchi, on the other hand, is in a little bit of a better predicament. He does have 6 used engines, and the usage is fairly decent on them, but saying that, it is not as excessive as what Fabio Di Giannantonio had to do. Up next is Gresini, and here you can see Marc Marquez. Now, Marc only has 4 well-used engines left also. Marc lost his first one after the sprint in round 11 in Austria. He then lost his first one at the start of the Misano race weekend. We all know then in round 15 in Indonesia, he then blew up engine number 5. So Marc would be at the slightest disadvantage realistically. Once he gets to round 18, yes, he will get a fresh engine, but the other remaining 4 engines do have quite a bit of mileage on them. Alex Marquez is in a slightly similar position to Marc. However, some of his remaining engines are still quite fresh. So I would say at this stage, engine-wise, Alex is in a little bit of a better position than Marc. Up next is the Pramac team. And here you can see Jorge and Franco Morbidelli. And when I was looking at this slide, I thought it was absolutely amazing to look at how well Pramac have done to space out the engines. If you look at Franco and Jorge Martin's engine, they're realistically nearly the same. You can see some engines are used in different stages and different sessions, but it is nearly identical, and they have definitely made the best use of it. Both riders still have 6 engines that, while they would have a little bit of wear on them, you can definitely see, for example, Martin is still using engine number 2, which is one of the first engines that he was using the season in the FP1s and the FP2s, similar to Franco Morbidelli. So for me, it looks like they've managed the engine allocation the best of everyone. Then we have the factory Ducati team, and here you can see that Pecco also has 6 engines remaining. 1 engine with very, very, very light amount of work on it. The others do have a bit of work completed on it. However, Enea Bastianini, he does have 5 remaining engines. Engine 2 and engine 5 were pulled at the Austrian Grand Prix round 11 and Misano Grand Prix round 13. Again, he can't wait, I would think, for the round 18 to come, where he'll get his hands on a fresh engine. Engines could come into it only if in the next round someone crashes it and they damage an engine. So for example, someone who would be on a low engine capacity like Mark, you know, you wouldn't want to be crashing too much and damaging your engines if you had only 2 or 3 engines to last you the last 3 races. It could be a little bit tight. But I would definitely love to know your thoughts. What do you think of the engine allocation that remains for each of the Ducati teams? Definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.